Hi, Todd. Mr. Y here, obviously. I got your number 17 in the SI book as a quiz. It was fine. It was good to go. I'm going to count it. We're definitely good to go on the next one. But you did have a little trouble, I think, finding your first note. And as you probably know by now, finding your first note is kind of the holy grail of horn playing, because if you don't find your first note correctly, then the rest of the song kind of gets messed up. And I think that's what happened on 17. So we're going to count it. I'm going to check it off. We're going to have to do it again. But I do want to give you an alternate assignment for the next one. Instead of doing number 49 like everybody else is going to do, I'm going to have you go back and do just a few basic kind of arpeggios so that we can really start to distinguish those different notes in your brain from each other. The most important thing on horn, like I said, is to be able to find your first note. And for me, what I do is I go off of whatever scale that I really, really know well, that I know I can find all the time. For me, on the horn, that's the C scale. I know that when I just pick up the horn, I can kind of pop out the C scale with no problem at all. You know, that kind of thing. I can always find that C with no problem at all. So if I know that I'm there, then I'm going to be able to start on the right note just by playing up to it. On number 17, for instance, it started on an F. So what I would have done on 17 is I would have started on that C and played C, D, E, F just to find that first note. And then once you go from there, the chromatic scale is just a matter of doing half steps each time. So now, easier said than done, of course, but like I said, I'm not going to have you do that one again. Don't worry about it. I am going to have you do a couple of lines in the SI book that are farther along. They're farther along, but that doesn't mean they're more advanced. They're just in a better key for the French horn. I'm going to have you do, in the F concert section, number 188, 189, and 190. And these are different kind of arpeggio and interval exercises that I think are really going to help you kind of cement the different pitches into your brain. Finding the right partial on the French horn is really kind of the key. Partials refer to the different notes that you can play with not changing your fingers. On the trumpet or the trombone or the baritone or the tuba, they're farther apart. So it's easier to kind of distinguish with your lips between one note and another. On the French horn, I'm sure as you know, the partials are so close together that if you get really good on the French horn, you can play a whole scale without using your fingers at all. And in fact, the French horn is one of the oldest brass instruments, because before there were valves invented, players used just their lips and their hand. They would stop the horn at different ways, either putting their hand farther in or pulling it farther out in order to get the different pitches. Now, we have valves nowadays, so that makes it a little easier, but you got to admire those people back in the day that could play all that crazy stuff without any valves. Anyway, though, what I want to have you do is I want to have you play 188, 189, 190. So get to that in the book right now if you could. You can pause if you need to, of course. Okay. 188, basically what we've got is we've got a C arpeggio here. And in fact, for the whole of 188, you don't use your fingers at all, which is kind of cool, actually. If you find that first C at 188, that's a pretty reliable note for me. I can usually hit that one pretty well. By the way, the way maybe you want to program your brain for getting the right note is the way we program our brain for music is you sing. Now, you don't have to sing like an angel. You don't have to sing well. But to be able to play that pitch, ba, you're going to want to sing that pitch too. I'm an octave lower. You're probably going to be up here because your voice is higher than mine. Because you're not, you're still an adolescent. You're not fully grown yet. I don't know if your voice has changed yet or not. I'm not sure. But anyway, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be as low as me. You're going to be up here, or up here is going to be your C. That's what it's going to sound like. So if you hum that note in your head or sing it, then it's going to be a lot easier to play when you get there. If I go, See, it's just kind of easier, I think, if you pre-program your brain to play that note. Your lips kind of automatically do the right thing then. Now, for 188, you'll see that all you do is you do no valves at all. You've got a C, and then an E, and then a G, E, C, and basically different combinations of that. So you've got no valves at all. You have to do all the work with your lips. Just make sure that C is slower air, and then the E is slightly more air, and then the G is slightly faster air after that. There is one low, low G at the end. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to hit that. I'm not really good at those notes, but I'll give it a shot, okay? So 188, finding my note. By the way, remember, your hand shouldn't be too far in or far out. It shouldn't be too far in. You might have heard that time I started a little too far in, and my sound was kind of muffled. And you will get the wrong note, too. That changes the note a little bit, as you can hear. But if I'm out just a little bit so that air can get out and all that kind of stuff, that's what you need. Okay, here we go. 2, 3. Rest. You can hear those low notes are not my favorite on the horn, but I did get the low G. These are just the first 5 notes of the scale. 1 and 3 and 5, 3, 1, up to 5 and 3 and 1, 3, 1, rest. 3, 5, 3, 1, 3, 1, 5, 1. The 5 is down low this time, and then 1. Okay? So make sure you do that one, 188, until you get really, really good at it, and then we'll worry about 189. Okay, so stop here for now. Okay, going on to 189 then. This one does have a few fingerings involved. There's B's and D's, and then an A toward the end too. Okay, so just be careful about that. Remember, the low B is middle valve, the D is first valve, and then the high A, or high-ish kind of A, is first and second valve. You know all these. Okay, it's just a matter of distinguishing them in your brain. Finding the first note. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And again, make sure you're really good at 189. Really listen carefully. Make sure you're getting all those right notes before you go on to 190. Okay? And so here's 190. Intervals. This one is going back down to that C all the time, but then going up one more note each measure. So C, D, C, and then C, E, C, and then C, F, C, and then C, G, C, C, A, C, C, B, C, 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 down low. Intervals are the way we talk about the distance between the notes in music. So the first one, C to D to C, is called a second because the D is the second note in the scale if you start on C. Okay. The E in the second measure is called a third. So E, C, E, C, that's a third, and then C to F is a fourth, and then C to G is a fifth, C to A is a sixth, C to B is a seventh, and then C to C is an octave. We call it octave. Octave, of course, related to the word 8. So it's the 8th note on the scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. C, the 8th note of the scale, is really the same as the first note of the scale, just the higher version. Okay? So, here we go. 190. 1. Ready? Okay? So, if you really take your time on these and really cement into your brain the different intervals, I think this stuff right here is going to pay off long term in playing the actual band music and stuff. So, work on 188, 189, and 190 instead of number 49 in the book like everybody else is doing right now. Okay? Thanks, Todd. Bye.